Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about how to find and cite images that we want to use in our projects. So I know that we've talked a little bit about the importance of making sure that when you find an image, making sure two things. One, that you can cite it. Okay, we have to give credit to who came up with the image, but also you have to make sure that it is an image that you have the right to use. So I remind you, not every image that we find in Google is going to be something that we have permission to use, and I'm going to show you how to make sure that we do have permission to use the ones that we find. So the first thing I want to show you about finding an image is using one of our databases. So a lot of us by now have been to Britannica School, so I'm just going to go down and find it. So I just went to fcps.edu and then clicked library, and then now I'm going to our online databases. And since I know I want Britannica, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in our search box. I know some of you have gone ahead in your Blackboard account and made modules for Britannica. If you have done that, you could just pull it up that way too. All right, so I'm going to go to School Edition and scroll down and click Go to Resource. And over here, you'll notice it says Your Britannica Resources. And one of the things that is very helpful is the link called Image Quest. This gives us thousands of images that we can use for projects. And the nice thing about coming here is that if you can find an image from this site, we have permission to use all of these. Okay, so it's going to make your life a little bit easier if you can find an image to use from here, because one, we know that we're allowed to use it, and two, it makes it really easy to cite, which I'll show you in just a second. So I'm going to click, and let's say I put in Fox. Okay, maybe that's something to do with my topic. So notice I hit enter, and then I have, look at what it says right there, okay, 19,208 images. There are plenty of things for me to choose from for me to really not have to go anywhere else to find an image. All right, I'm just probably easier if I just pick something from here. So let's say that I pick one of these. Let's say I click on it right here. Okay, notice that it gives the credit for where this image came from, which is really important. But the thing I love about this site is that when you need to cite your image, just like you do for any article that you use, the citation is already here. That is very, very, very helpful. So if I click on it, they've already got the citation. And for this, what I would recommend is that you take the citation and that you copy and paste it in a kind of like a works cited page. And you should always have one of those for your research. And a lot of people have a separate one for their images. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive. Okay. And you'll notice I'm already logged in as me. So you want to make sure you're logged in as me. And I'm just going to make a new document. So I'm going to come up here, and let's say it is my, maybe I'm doing research on foxes, and then I want to make sure that it is my image citation page. Okay, then what I can do is I can go back to here, and I can simply highlight it, and I can copy this, and a shortcut to copy is hit Control-C, and then go to my image citation page, and I can hit paste, or a shortcut for that is Control-V. Oh, notice it didn't work. Notice where it went up in my title. So I am going to undo that. Give me 1 second. We want to get rid of that, and then make sure we put it down here. Try again. There we go. Sometimes you have to try more than once. Okay, and then I would probably want to give this page a title. So I would probably make it image citation page. And I would probably make that a little bit larger. Okay, so that it stands out. And then every picture I use, I would want to make sure that I give it credit. So let's say I also decide to use this one. Okay, notice I'm going to do the same thing. I want to make sure citation. So I'm going to copy that citation, put it over here, and then hit that. Notice it looks identical. And one of the things, if you think about most of the time for a title for an image, if we don't have an actual title, which lots of images don't, they just write something for a description and then say where they got it from. So you'll notice that even though it looks identical, that's showing me that I used 2 different pictures from this site. So even if it looks the same, make sure that you do it for every single image that you borrow, okay? And then I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So maybe I decided to use this image, right, and I want to cite it. So notice this citation looks a little bit different. Okay. Oop. And obviously you can click on the picture if you want to pull it up. For me, I'm just trying to still copy the whole thing. So you're going to make sure copy the whole thing, Control C, and then put it over here. And normally for the image citation page, you want to put them in alphabetical order starting with the first letter, okay? So that's why I put those in order like that. So that is how you create an image citation when you have something like ImageQuest, where it makes it very easy. We have permission to use all of these, and they give us the citation. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when it is a little bit harder, okay? So now I want to show you what it looks like when we don't have access to an image that we can find in a place like ImageQuest. So another thing that we can do is if we are working in a project, so notice I've pulled up Google Slides. Okay, so let's say I want to add an image to Google Slides. It's the same idea. You still have to have a picture that you are allowed to use, and you still have to create a citation for it. So if I'm in something like this, like Google Docs or Google Slides, I can just go to Insert and Image. Now, the important thing that you see is right here. It should say, results shown are labeled for commercial reuse with modification. That means that they're only going to give us images that we have the right to reuse. And you want to make sure that it says that. If it says something else, then you're going to have to go back in and fix it. Okay, so let's say I'm still doing my Fox research. So let's say I click in Fox. Okay, so the only images that are popping up are ones that I'm allowed to reuse because that's what it says right here. All right, and then it's giving me any type of photo, which I probably want to keep. If you're looking for something specific, you could change that. So let's say I want this one, okay, and you'll notice right here, it's giving me where, basically where it's coming from. This is not enough for a citation. I cannot just have a link for somebody to click on. I have to cite the image. If you'll notice when I clicked on Britannica, the ImageQuest, it gave me a full citation. It did not just give me a web link. So this is where it gets a little tricky, okay? Before you can copy and paste the image into the file or the document to print it, whatever you need to do, you're going to have to create your own citation for this image, and that is where this gets a little bit trickier, all right? So in order to do that, I have to click on the link for where this information is coming from. Okay. So you can see it gives us some information, gives us a description, a date it was created, who the author is. Not all the images do that. And we are free. It says right here we're free to share it. So we're allowed to use it, but we still have to create a citation. And we're going to have to make the process of going through that step something that we do. So one way you can do it, if you go to something like EasyBib, this is a website where you can create citations. So look where I'm going, easybib.com. Okay, then I click on what type of thing it is. So notice I don't see an image right here. I have to click on all 59. And when I do that, I have to scroll and I find a digital image. Okay, and then I have to go through step by step and fill in all of this information in order to create a citation. So I'm going to have to go back and forth a few times. So it was called the Yawning Red Fox. That's the title. All right, so Yawning Red Fox. And description, you only have to fill that out if there is no title. Since there is a title, we can leave that alone. And it did give us the author. So we're going to scroll down and find that. And that author's name was Peter G. Trimming. So Peter G. Trimming. And if I needed another person, there was more than one, I could add that there. Okay. Then I need the website, which is Wikipedia Commons. I'm sorry, I think it said Wikimedia. Wikimedia Commons. Okay, and then we go back to see if we can find the publisher. Okay. So it looks like it is just Wikimedia. It's the same thing. Okay, the URL was the link that I found it at. So now I can copy and paste the actual URL that it came from. So it says to leave out the URL, so I'll leave that right there. And then when was this electronically published? And so that was on here. Let's see. So March 5th, 2011. And then when did I access it? So I did it on Friday. So today is the 31st of March 2000. Oh, I should have just hit today. There we go. It'll fill it in for you. And then I had to fill out all of that information. And now I can create my citation. Okay, so there it is. There's my new citation. So I can copy it. And then I have to go back to my image page and I would have to add this to it. Okay. And again, you'll notice the font's a little bit different. You might have to go through and change everything when you're done to make everything the same. So pick one font and one thing to do in it. Okay. So that's how you find a photo and cite it if you can't do it in something like ImageQuest. Notice that took me a lot longer and it had a lot more steps in it. So when you can, using something like ImageQuest, okay, where it already has the citation for you, will make your life much easier. All right, so that's pretty much how you find and cite photos. Please remember, you should never be using a photo that you are not allowed to be using, so you have to double check to make sure that you're allowed to use it. And then quickly, I'll show you one more thing. Let's say you're just in Google by itself. You're not in a Google document. So let's say I'm here, and let's say, again, my project is on the fox. Okay, so here I would have to change it to images. All right, I don't necessarily have access to all of these. So one thing that I have to do is go to Tools, and where it says Usage Rights, I have to make sure that, see, right now it's not filtered by license. It's showing me any photo possible, and I don't have the right to use all of these. I want to go to the ones for reuse or reuse with modification. Really, any of these for what you're doing for just for research is fine as a filter, as long as it's not this one that says not filtered. So I'm going to click label for reuse with modification. So you'll notice some of the ones are the same, some of them have changed. Okay, then I would have to do the same thing. I click on it. All right, I would have to go visit the page to find out all of the information to create a citation in EasyBib before I can just copy and paste this picture in anything that I want to use. Okay, so those are some of the ways that you can use a photo. I hope this helped. You can always stop by and see me, Mrs. Hurley, if you have any questions. Okay? All right. Hopefully you now know how to cite an image and how to make sure you find ones that you're allowed to use.